Hello and welcome back to Big Mouth. So, funny story. Last season here in Europe, Netflix were showing the Flash episodes straight after they aired on the CW. Checked Netflix out straight after season 5, episode 1 was on the CW over on Netflix, and it wasn't on. And I thought, great, because they did this to us with Arrow. They don't show brand new Arrow on Netflix anymore. So really frustrating. Then yesterday I checked, and I was like, oh my God, it's here. So, yes, I finally saw The Flash Season 5, Episode 1, and I loved it. The first scene I didn't like. Too much levity. I mean, your daughter's come from the future, right? Whether you believe that or not, you've got to have a little bit of drama playing in that moment. But it was okay because once we got through that grating opening scene, it became really emotional. This was an episode it wasn't very comic booky in the way of the action. We got great action sequences in the end with Nora and Barry, but during it just it was really kind of about the characters and the story. My favourite part is that Barry is still missing in the future. Remember in the pilot in the first season where Barry finds out he's missing in the future? It's something they really haven't talked about much within the other seasons, although in one of the crossovers, Barry and Oliver were talking about it, which was great. One of the things I'm hoping for, though, is they don't solve this mystery. I don't want to know what happened to the Flash. I want to think about it. I want to say, what happened to him in the future? If they want to deal with it, if they do want to solve this mystery, I want it to be an awesome, epic resolution rather than it's like, oh, well, he was just travelling with the Legends or something stupid like that. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that's what I'm scared of. They'll say, yeah, he went into the Wave Rider with the Legends and they got stuck on this adventure for 25 years or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I want it to be epic. I love the relationship between Barry and Nora. I'm glad. I'm not a father, but I'm an uncle, and I've got a great relationship with my nephews and nieces who are all incredibly young and absolutely adore me. That's not me being big-headed. That's because I put in the effort with them in that relationship. But I love the fact, and you could tell something was wrong when they're in the coffee shop, and Iris is all, yeah, we'll be close. And at first you think that maybe they've got a crap relationship in the future. But then we find out it's because Nora never knew her dad. She's come here to see him, to get to know him. I must admit, I cried a few tears when I saw that. I thought that was brilliant, brilliantly handled. And even in the end there, when they go for the coffee, you feel sorry for Iris. I mean, there were elements in this episode where Iris gets on my nerves because she's the kind of one who talks sense, and I hate that because he's going, we've got to send her back. And she's going, no, let's keep her here. I didn't like the fact within the writing where in the end Barry's going, it's fine because it doesn't matter if we change a few little things. I love Cisco talking about fixed points in time because I'm a big Doctor Who fan and I love that. But ultimately, I would think, because I've never time travelled, obviously, I'd love to do it, but I've not done it yet. But I would feel that any little thing, in fact, changing the little things would probably change the big things in the future. Surely, she's a danger. She should go back to the future straight away. But that's not going to happen. I love this. I love this young actor who's playing Nora. Is it Jessica Parker Kennedy? I love her because she was in a show I was obsessed with, Smallville. I forgot what DC comic book character she played, but she was awesome in that. Was it Dynamite? I can't remember anyway. But she was really good in that, and I liked her. She was quite a lot younger then, but she doesn't seem to age. She still kind of looks like a kid, even though she's meant to be an adult. And I don't know how old she is in this universe. I suppose you could say she's 22, 23, something like that. But I like her, and I'm glad they wrote the character as likeable because the CW have this habit of writing females who are not part of the existing Flash team as very arrogant, very bolshy and unlikable because they think that makes a strong female, which it doesn't. This young woman is a very strong female without being rude, which is great for me. No Harrison Wells in this. I know we're going to get another version of Harrison Wells, and I was maybe after the credits, the post-credits scene, I was hoping to see him. But we didn't see that. We actually saw this new villain. Forgot what he's called, but literally I think he wants to kill everyone with powers, basically. So if you've got powers, this guy wants to kill you. So that's very interesting to me, and I'm very excited about that as well. Also, we had a mention of Caitlin and her father. In this episode, we find out that actually that her father is still alive because his death certificate was actually faked. And who's the stretchy guy? I always forget his name, but I like him, and he was the one who investigated it. So I do like that character. In fact, my problem is with him, it's like in the UK, we've got this saying called too many cooks spoil the broth. And there is a lot of them now. I mean, we saw a little bit of Joe. You don't need to see a lot of Joe. Cecile is a weird character. She's still got her powers, by the way, if you noticed that. So that's interesting. I don't dislike Cecile. I just think I don't really care about her that much. That's the problem. She's just a character they're squeezing in there. And I'm interested what they're going to do with Cisco this year. I'm glad him and Gypsy split up. I do not like Gypsy. She's just annoying. She's someone they were bringing in for 2 or 3 episodes. We don't need to see her. Personally, I don't know how you feel, guys, but she just annoys me. And I'm really looking forward within the season to see what's going on with Caitlin. We're going to meet her father. We did find out in last year's finale that actually Caitlin was a metahuman. That's the word I was looking for, metahuman, from when she was a child, maybe from even when she was born. Who knows? Why is that? Because that means she wasn't affected by Wells' experiment, which is interesting. So what does that mean? And I mean, I've never read any Killer Frost comics, but I will say this about Killer Frost. I've not been happy about how they've did her, because in the comics, which I don't know very well, but people tell me within the comics there's been this kind of thing where she's in love with Barry, and maybe Barry's in love with her, and you know, she's got this kind of really intense relationship with the Flash because she's more of a villain, of course. But one of the things that annoyed me that they've made Killer Frost like this kind of good character, and I find that kind of boring. That's disappointing, but this is what the CW do, I'm afraid. But I will say this: season 5, episode 1 was a very engaging piece of work. The Flash isn't the show it was in the first 2 years. There is no question about that. We saw that in the numbers. They're still okay. They're still solid and not disastrous. And we've discussed this with the CW DC shows. They make lots of money from other avenues. So this is why they get renewed and renewed. And they're very important for the network because that's what draws people to that network. So I'd give the episode 8.5 out of 10. As I say, Nora and her relationship with Barry is absolutely fantastic. It'll be very exciting to see what happens. I will say about the villain of this episode, there was nothing going on with him, really. He was there. He was causing problems. I loved the scene in the plane. I loved Nora and Barry coming together at the end as well, and how she was doubting herself, and he gave her confidence in the end because she admitted she hasn't really been very responsible. So a brilliant episode. Great to see the Flash at least be more what I want it to be. It's got the emotions, it's got some great action. Barry got his suit. Actually, cancel that favourite bit of the episode. I really hate when I do reviews and I forget something. Right. The ring. When the suit comes out of the ring, that was great CG. I absolutely loved it. And I loved Barry's reactions to it as well. Really, really good. And I hope they do that every week. They probably won't. But the whole thing with the Flash ring, of course, is iconic, isn't it? So, yeah, I thought that was brilliant. That was my favourite part of the whole episode. And it's going to be really interesting. And episode 2, which I don't know what it's going to be about, I do hope we see Wells really soon. And I hope this is not a comic version of, not comic as in comic books, but a funny version of Wells. I hope he's more kind of the Wells we had in season 1 when Eobard Thawne was disguised as him. That was, oh my God, and another scene I nearly forgot. When he's kind of in the plane and he's advising Nora, he remembers what Wells told him. And I think that's season 1 Wells. And I thought, isn't it amazing that this guy who's a villain, pretending to be a good guy, actually helped Barry? You know, evil Wells actually helped Barry a lot. He had to help Barry to get him to get faster so he could use him for what he wanted him for. But I thought that was just brilliant. And it's very interesting that they flash back to that. So that could be a big clue to what kind of Wells we're going to get in this season as well. Thanks very much, guys. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Like, dislike, don't mind. Comment. Let's get involved. Let's be a nerd family.